behind the Kroger. Everybody's familiar with the location?
I think Georgetown.
Yeah, in Georgetown, correct, thanks.
Thank you, Laurel David, Galloway Law Group, for those of you who don't know me. For those of you who do, it's good to be back. It's been a while since I've been to a DHA board meeting. I'm just going to be very brief. We wanted to bring this to you this evening. This is more of a sort of an informational meeting. We're very early in the process. In fact, we don't have any architectural concepts to show you because they've had several meetings with neighborhood representatives, and they're going back to rework some of those based on the neighborhood comments. In a nutshell, this is a rezoning from C1 to Planned Development Unit, which will encompass the Walton Community Project, which will be senior housing, and the Georgetown Shopping Center. And the reason for using the planned development zoning was to give us some flexibility to work with pedestrian connections and really do a better job of integrating the two parcels. We didn't, for instance, want to just put the back of, say, senior housing to the back of Kroger. And I'll let Matt go into a little bit more detail on that. We've got Community Council on March the 13th. I'll give you the dates. Planning Commission on April the 8th, and then final council vote on May the 27th. So in the meantime, there's obviously plenty of time for anyone if they have any questions. Please reach out to me. I can, if I don't know the answer, I will find out who does.
What kind of feedback did you get from the community, Laura?
I did not go to the meetings because there were some city officials there, so in order to observe propriety, so I'll let Matt.
Matt would cover that.
Sure, if you would. Great. Well, thanks a lot for having us tonight. My name is Matt Teague. I work in development at Walton Communities. And as Laurel mentioned, we're in the planning stages of looking to a senior community next to the Georgetown Shopping Center off Chamblee-Dunwoody. We're very excited about it. I think it'll be a great walkable community. Recently, we went up to a similar community that we built 2 years ago. With the mayor and Councilwoman Deutsch and some of the city staff here, and just showed them what we build at Walton Communities, the kind of community that we're looking into for Dunwoody. So tonight I've just prepared a few slides of what that community looks like up in Ackworth. It's called The Legacy at Walton Overlook. I personally was a development director here and saw it from day one, and we're very proud of it. It's 100 senior apartments, and everything around Walton Overlook is designed for seniors. Everything from the floor plans to our Legacy Center directors who run the communities. And just to give you the type of community we're looking at architecturally, I think this is in line with our communication with the Homeowners Association and with the mayor and staff. So it's a craftsman style building. We put a lot of emphasis onto our landscaping. This is the central courtyard at Legacy Overlook, a giant fountain, some shaded seating, some gardens where residents can garden themselves, and also some grills and benches. And a lot of the community events take place in these areas. Another shot of the courtyard. It's very lush landscaping. And then, again, the style of the building, a lot of brick, craftsman style. And usually we try to center them around the landscaping in the center of the community. I mentioned before just some of the services that we provide for the seniors. This is one little area. It's our library in the front of the Legacy Center, which is right next door to a little computer center. There's crafts rooms, a coffee morning room where a lot of the seniors gather. If you go in here any time of day, there's a lot of activity. A lot of the senior residents come through just to talk to our staff, to take shuttles down to the Kroger, and to just gather together for general community. We put a lot of emphasis into the Legacy Centers where the amenities are. in order to foster that community amongst the residents. This is just an example that I saw today while I was flipping through photos of a garden party that Ginger, who is one of our Legacy Center directors, she helped host this close to when the apartment, or when the community opened a year or so ago. As you can see, it's very well attended. We have this room, the Legacy room, that can fit 30 or 40 people into it, or if not more, for events like this. Again, this is in the crafts room. Melinda was our community director up there, and the Legacy director, like Melinda, is in charge of all these events that we put on for the seniors, and also for leasing the property. Again, this is the garden party. This is the community garden that residents can plant themselves, herbs and other flowers too. And these are just two of our residents here. So wanted to show you that before we showed you our site plan for the Georgetown Center, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about when we are envisioning a senior living. So if you can take that concept and sort of apply it to where we're at here, we're Chamblee-Dunwoody and Old Spring House. The Kroger is down at the bottom here, and if you can picture where the Starbucks is, that's where we'll start to focus our interconnectivity between the two properties. We'll have open sidewalk access all the way back into our community, and then it'll feed back into Old Springhouse Lane. The parking for the residents will be gated at this point, but everything else will be open for mixed use and walkability of the whole area. I think that is about it. Laurel?
Yeah, I just want to point out a few things, my pointer. This is the courtyard area. That will be similar to some of the ones that you saw in the slides. One of the things that Walton did was they actually kind of repurposed the building so that originally, and I think now, this is just kind of a driveway cut through. It's not very attractive. So this is actually going to be the visitor and front door drop-off area, which with like a landscape circle here in the middle. That'll really activate this corner, and as you're walking along these sidewalks that we're putting in, which aren't there now, it'll make it much more attractive for even residents to walk through here from Springhouse into and then connect to the shopping center. There's also a connection here to the Chamblee-Dunwoody sidewalk that are here. Also, we'll tie into the existing sidewalks here on Springhouse Lane, and if the Georgetown Park is a reality, that'll be a 5-minute walk. It's a reality. For the residents.
So can I ask you a couple questions?
Yes.
We're talking 50 and older, is that what you're expecting for senior?
55.
55 and older?
Old folks, Rob.
Yes!
Good point, Robert.
Independent living or also assisted living?
That's a great question. It's independent, active adult. There's no assisted component to it. No meals served daily. We'll do special.
You moved down the street to the atrium, Robert, in case you're trying to.
No. I get that. Is this going to be stick-built, or are we going to be looking at concrete and rebar?
We're discussing stick built.
Yeah, that's disappointing, right?
It's a great product.
And the other is that I know that there were areas of the Georgetown master plan set aside for senior living. Is this part of the area that was set aside? Does anybody remember?
Yes, it's here.
Okay, so when we did the master plan for Georgetown, we did identify areas close to the Kroger as a good place for senior living. So if this is in that area, then we ought to be somewhat receptive, because they're actually following what we told the community we want.
You're not gonna mess with Waffle House, right?
I personally am not going to mess with Waffle House, no.
I wouldn't mind seeing both of them go.
Following up on Robert's thought about the master plan, I just wanted to ask the question. There's some plan in the master plan for interconnectivity. We've got that building that we bought that's supposed to tie in between Dunwoody Park and Chamblee. And then there's also maybe it's a wish list to get from Chamblee-Dunwoody over to Ashford-Dunwoody without getting on 285. Where does this fit? Does it have any connectivity with that at all?
Nothing.
It's not, it's far from.
Jerry?
Yeah, we'll inspect it.
Yeah, I heard you say you're gonna try to connect on that strip where the Starbucks and Goldberg's, between the two places. Are you widening sidewalks to do that? Because they put little tables outside in front of Goldberg's so that the sidewalk is not all that wide, and parking in that section is horrendous. So I'm just trying to figure out how you're going to work out connectivity on that strip with seniors trying to walk there.
Well, they'll be able to go on this sidewalk here and then tie into the sidewalks in front of the shops.
But are you widening those sidewalks that are in front of the shops?
No. This area is, I think, just grass or scrub. Here, so this will be an area that'll be opened up to do some sort of communal gathering space here. Haven't really worked out the details yet.
Anybody else got another question?
I'm sorry, how many units and how many stories?
We're looking at around 120 units and 4 stories. With the,
With a basement.
yeah.
It's going to start off as a 55 and older.
Yes, sir.
If the complex ever gets sold to anybody else, can that designation ever change?
It'll be deed restricted.
Okay.
That follows the property if there is a sale.
Bill had a question.
Yeah, I realize for the purposes of getting this through the process, you've combined it with the existing strip shopping center. Are you doing any changes that could be seen from the entrance of Kroger, for example,
No.
to the shopping center?
No.
The footprint for the apartment complex itself and its parking is what acreage?
There's about 3 acres?
3.4.
3.4.
3.4.
So that's a density of around 30 to 40 units per acre?
Yeah. I'm a lawyer, I stay away from that.
Speaking to the question that Greg brought up earlier about connectivity, the city will have a 12-foot concrete path running to the playground you referred to over at the Georgia Renaissance from Brook Run. And the long-term plans show that running to Perimeter Center East, which would put it probably down Old Springhouse Lane. What discussions have you had with the city to accommodate that?
We're actually meeting again with the city tomorrow, but we are, because our frontage here on Old Springhouse Lane is actually really quite small. So we're gonna be tying into whatever future plans they have for that using the existing sidewalk.
Bill, I'd like to also, I'm not too sure that the plan for that path going down that road is in stone yet.
Well, it's not, and it's not clear who will pay for it. We were hoping we could get you to pay for part of it.
Still want
Well, I will take it under advisement.
on Springhouse.
Yep. Is there any, do y'all have any connectivity or have you coordinated at all with the other senior housing that's right there, the little bit poking to the left edge is Dunwoody Pines or the Atrium? Are those folks gonna be able to walk through your area, have a back gate to snake around to Lucky China or wherever?
Yeah, well, these sidewalks, I mean,
Yeah.
although it, it is on private property, and I think a lot of people actually come through here, they'll be able to walk down the
Okay.
sidewalks.
Yeah, they won't be able to come down the parking lot, they can come down today,
Right.
which
But
is, yeah,
there's
not
actually
that they
some,
do.
well, there's some topographical issues actually.
Yeah.
for that
Jack.
part. So it's better to have them come down the sidewalk.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris?
Just curious what your price point is, and if you don't fill them, do you plan on reducing the age to 50, and if you don't fill them there, further reducing?
We would not be able to reduce the age if it's deed restricted.
Deed restricted.
We're set on 55.
And what's your price point?
Judging by the area, Sorry,
Trish
so Tricia Carlson's our area director for a lot of our properties. In Dunwoody, you,
Well, at our Ashford, our Walton Ashwood property, the rent is somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.45 to $1.50 a square foot, so it would probably be similar.
sure, so if you have a one bedroom, would be around 1,000 square foot, it'd be
Yeah.
around $1,400.
1 and 2 bedroom.
1, 2 bedroom,
Yes. Assuming that this goes through all of the community council, planning commission, and city council, and we get approved, what is the timeline you envision this taking place?
Generally, if we come out of zoning end of May, then I'd say we'd start at the beginning of the following year. It takes about a year to build, so that'd be the beginning of
Second quarter.
16.
second quarter 16.
Second quarter
Okay.
16.
Just one more question. If your starting price point is 1,300, and there are apartment complexes that are older, not horrible, with lower price points for one bedroom, what makes you so confident you're gonna really fill it? Why would those folks migrate?
Quality of living, I think that a brand new community is much more appealing to a,
Just the activity.
That's their risk.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not our problem.
And, you know, this is programmed to cater to a certain age group, so they're gonna have amenities that, the normal, apartment complexes don't
And
have.
it's gonna be brand new.
And it will be brand new.
Well, Matt and Lauren, I appreciate you all coming out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.